Hello and welcome to my Humanities Night presentation. My name is Aden Jordan and this is my second year in the Humanities program. What is my project? My project initially was I wanted to create a map of the world. I wanted to take the current borders of the world and redraw them to the best of my ability underneath my knowledge. And I went into this very headstrong about my knowledge. I thought I knew a lot, and I quickly my confidence in it quickly dissipated as I realized that I did not know as much. And so it transitioned from me creating this map of the world to learning about the different peoples of the world and their cultures and their ethnicities and all the history behind these cultures and groups. So an example of my map that I'm presenting here is Africa. And the reason why I want to present Africa here is because I feel that it is one of the, most interesting continents in the world. I feel it has the most amount of potential out of the current continents in the world. And I think that there is not enough that is taught in the education system about Africa. So I really enjoyed learning about the cultures and the ethnicities of these nations within Africa and the peoples that don't have states in Africa. And it has really opened my eyes to a lot of what current geopolitics surrounding Africa is like and what historical events are still shaping the way that current politics is today. And certain movements and things like that have really caught my attention. One being pan-nationalism. And pan-nationalism is a form of nationalism where it's multiple different peoples under a sort of umbrella of different cultures, ethnicities, and all the other sorts of things coming together and creating one state. And one example of this is the East African Federation. Though it does go by different names, I call it the East African Federation because that's what I was introduced to it as. And it stretches from Tanzania to South Sudan. And I think it's a very interesting concept. These combining states I've always found really interesting, like these union states and how those would work in the world. I've always found those very interesting and how that will influence modern politics. But I wanted to incorporate another thing. These little cartoons are called country balls. And for those of you who don't know, country balls are little political and geopolitical comics that center around characterizing countries as balls with their flags on it. Most are just comedic pieces on current politics. Some are just regular art of different things, but it's something that I find very fun. So I wanted to incorporate that into the map, and part of the difficulty with incorporating them into the map is that I had to learn more about nations' flags and learn more about what they mean and why countries have their flags. And so this led me on to a different research path, just researching flags and seeing what they mean and why nations choose those flags to represent them. And this flag here is the flag of the Holy See, or as it's better known, the Vatican flag. And specific, and in this flag, the yellow here represents the gold key, which is representative of heavenly power. And the white here, it's not really well shown because of the background, but it represents the silver key, which is earthly power. And these two keys were given to one of Jesus's apostles, and they're significant to the Catholic faith. So that's why they're on there. And then, of course, there is the papal tiara, which this rendition of the tiara was the one worn by Pope Pius XI, and it's to represent the Pope's authority next to the two sorts of powers. And learning about this flag has actually helped my own knowledge with the Catholic faith. As a person that does not believe in Catholicism, it was sort of a gray area in my knowledge. And I always tried to learn about it, but I never really caught on to it in terms of my knowledge. And this helped me a lot understanding the Catholic faith and why I believe in certain things. This also helped me creating country balls, because then I could understand what certain things meant and why flags are the way they are, and it gave me more of a sort of like a personality into the country. So then it made it easier to research those countries. But in terms of the future of this project, I do plan on working on this into the future, and I don't plan on really stopping this after I finish high school or as I go past college. I don't plan on stopping working on this, because I'm always going to find new information, and the world's always going to be changing in terms of borders. So updating this map will be sort of like a passion project for me. So what I learned about myself, I procrastinate. And that's been an issue because it's interfered with my ability to learn. And I have a decent ability to learn, but it's hampered by my procrastination. So they sort of come in conflict with each other is the way that I could describe that. But most importantly, though, I improved on my confidence. It was something that I felt was lacking for a while. But I feel like this year has really helped me boost my confidence. But in terms of making it tangible into the habits of mind, there's been 3 attitudes that I've worked on throughout the year. One being previously confidence, and humility, which is important because I went into the project very headstrong, as I stated, and bring myself down to a level, bringing myself down from an egotistic level made me have the ability to learn these cultures easier, because it meant that I would be able to learn them faster, because I was no longer thinking like that I knew everything about it going in. An open-mindedness, because I come from an American culture. It was hard for me to learn about these cultures because I always had a bias towards my own culture. And so I had to keep an open mind about these cultures while learning about them. Otherwise, I would not learn anything, and the entire point of the project would be unable to be achieved. And then in terms of actions, I improved on my curiosity, because I continued to try and learn about things. If I learned about one country's history, then there was obviously a point where another country got involved with that country, and then I would learn about their that country, and then it sort of snowballed. And then I ended up learning about a completely different country on the other side of the world, um, which is fun, actually. It's been fun to learn about these countries and learn about their histories, and it's been a real eye opener. And then intrinsic motivation. There was no real thing or deadline saying that I had to learn about these countries. I could have just made the map and then be done with it and then move on to a different project. But I went for learning because I felt it was something that I would find fun and I would find enriching, and it was both those things. And so that's it. Thank you for listening to my presentation. And thank you.